Our special guest is that brilliant superstar from the world of popular music, Donny Osmond. Our hostess from the hit series, Scott's Landing, Joan Van Ark. And the star of The Price is Right and one of America's favorite television personalities, Bob Barker. And escorting our ladies, the members of the Naval Air Training Command Choir. Here again is our host for this evening, Bob Barker.
Thank you and welcome to the beautiful Mississippi Gulf Coast. We're here on the coast again this year. I know the secret now. I know the secret now. Anytime I'm in trouble, I'll say Mississippi. You know, we've been coming to Mississippi for 4 years now, and frankly, I feel as if I'm one of y'all. Well, we're going to see some lovely young lady become the new Miss USA tonight. And along with the prestige that accompanies the title of Miss USA, our winner will receive prizes totaling more than $150,000 in cash and merchandise. And the winner will represent our country in the Miss Universe pageant to be held July 26th in Lima, Peru, where she will compete with 85 beautiful women from all over the world. Now, more and more people who watch these pageants each year tell me that they are both viewers and judges. That is, they take pencil and paper in hand, and as the pageant progresses, they match their opinions with those of our panel here in the theater. Throughout the show, the votes of our judges will be tabulated in our computer, which will record all of the voting tonight. We'll be describing how that works, describing the areas in which our candidates are judged, and telling you how, thanks to our computer, you at home will have access to scoring information that our judges will not have. But before those explanations, let's get on with the pleasant task of meeting our lovely young women. Miss Alabama.
I'm Lisa Wheeler, and I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
Tony McFadden, Fairbanks, Alaska.
I'm Lori Hackler from Tucson, Arizona.
I'm Terry Utley from Cabot, Arkansas.
Suzanne DeLong from Thousand Oaks, California.
I'm Dusty Hatton from Longmont, Colorado.
Maureen Sechrest, Shelton, Connecticut.
Sean Lisa Saints, Wilmington, Delaware.
Lori Easton from the District of Columbia.
Lisa Smith from Largo, Florida.
I'm Callie Blackson from Savannah, Georgia.
Vanessa Dubois, Honolulu, Hawaii.
Valerie Steffen, Boise, Idaho. I'm Carla Danielson from Chicago, Illinois.
I'm Sarah Binkley from Greencastle, Indiana.
Jeannie Hoyer, Fort Madison, Iowa.
Stephanie Larson, Overland Park, Kansas.
Christina Chapman, Owensboro, Kentucky.
Lisa Michael, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Teresa Cloutier, South Portland, Maine. Angie Boyer, Dunkirk, Maryland. Janet Marie Flaherty, Wilmington, Massachusetts. Diana Arabia, Warren, Michigan. Lori Komatsu, Brighton, Minnesota. Nancy Perkins, Marks, Mississippi.
Susan Hyman from Kansas City, Missouri.
Garrett Lee Stevenson, Bozeman, Montana.
Lori Novicki from Omaha, Nebraska.
Andrea Pennington, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Kathy Rogers, Northampton, New Hampshire. Janice Lynn Straub, Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Lisa Allen, Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Anne-Marie Henderson, Monroe, New York.
Janine Boger, Sanford, North Carolina. Tammy Martin, Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Kim Weeda, Dayton, Ohio.
Jill Liebman, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Christina Beller from Dundee, Oregon.
Teresa Rosa from North Versailles, Pennsylvania.
I'm Peggy McGraw from Scituate, Rhode Island.
Margot Wood, Columbia, South Carolina.
Megan Marie North, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Niecy Levy from Nashville, Tennessee. Lou Ann Coy from Abilene, Texas. Susan Gasser from Salt Lake City, Utah. Georgia Davis, Bennington, Vermont. Sandra D. Jones from Richmond, Virginia. Gianna Midwards from Seattle, Washington. Cindy Bannock, Star City, West Virginia. Cheryl Meslowski, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Judy Wilder from Casper, Wyoming.
We don't know which one she is as yet, but you have just met the new Miss USA.
Hello, I'm Joan Van Ark, and even though I'm used to being on CBS on Thursday evenings, tonight is something special, something different. Because instead of coming to you as Valine Ewing, the character I play on Knots Landing, tonight I'm here as hostess of this pageant, which I have loved watching many times in the past, just like you. And I gotta tell you, I'm really very excited about it. Now, my first assignment is to tell you about our scoring system, so why don't we just get started on that? Now, this bright and attractive and handsome group of people right here is our panel of judges, whom you're going to be meeting in just a little while. Now, each judge has a terminal just like this one here, and they will enter a score into that terminal for each of our candidates in the 3 areas of judging, which are swimsuits, evening gowns, and personal interviews. Now, our scores go from 1 to 9.99. So if, say, for example, a judge decides to give Miss So-and-so an 8.88 in the evening gown competition, then that score is entered like this. Now, all our scores are fed into our computer, which tabulates an average composite score for each candidate, and the young woman with the highest score is obviously going to be our new Miss USA. Throughout the evening, I'll be recapping our scoring, but that will not be heard by our contestants. Our panel of judges spent the past week making evaluations of our candidates that would eventually lead to their selection of our 12 semifinalists. Tonight, their job is to select 5 finalists from that group, and then from the 5, choose the new Miss USA. The swimsuit competition was one of the 3 judging areas, along with interviews and evening gowns, which our judges used in making their determination. Now, after they were judged and scored in the official identical swimsuits, we taped them in a special fashion swimsuit extravaganza to show you all 51 contestants in swimsuits and some beautiful locations on our Gulf Coast. As you see each of our young women in their swimsuits from JCPenney's Miss USA collection, you will also see on your screen the score each contestant received in the preliminary swimsuit competition. So you all get ready at home there and here and see if you can pick out our 12 semi-finalists. Bob?
Thank you, Joan. Time now for us to see our beautiful candidates as they visited various locations on the scenic Mississippi Gulf Coast. This is the shoreline of the Mississippi Gulf Coast with its white sand and blue water. These shimmering waters are in the Hancock Plaza and make up, along with a white marble strip, a simulation of the Harrison County shoreline. It's here in Hancock Plaza that we meet our first group of young ladies, starting with Miss Montana, Pierrette Stevenson, and Miss Arkansas, Terry Utley. From the state next door, we greet Miss Louisiana, Lisa Ann Michael, and from our smallest state, Peggy McGraw, Miss Rhode Island. Miss Connecticut is Maureen Sechrist, and here is Janine Withers Boger, Miss North Carolina. Miss West Virginia is Cindy Bannock, and with her is Miss Wisconsin, Cheryl Ann.
Kid died.
Before moving on, we meet Miss Alaska, Tony Lynn McFadden, and Valerie Marie Steffen, Miss Idaho. The Golden Fisherman Monument is unique in that it honors not an individual, but all those in the fishing industry, which is so important in this area. Here we find him casting his net for a catch that includes Miss Oregon, Christina Bauer, and also from the Northwest, Jana Minerich, Miss Washington. Miss Minnesota is Laurie Kometz, and with her is Teresa Cloutier, Miss Maine. The fountain and the fishermen provide a backdrop for Miss Texas, Luann Coy, and Miss Indiana, Sarah Binkley. Now we greet Anne Marie Henderson, who is Miss New York, and Miss Iowa, Jeannie Hoyer. The last of the group that visited the fishermen are Carla Jo Danielson, Miss Illinois, and Lisa Wheeler, Miss Alabama. Here on the grounds of a Gulf Coast estate, we find 2 symbols of gracious southern living from 2 different eras, a gazebo and a swimming pool. Their beauty is enhanced by Miss South Carolina, Margot Michelle Wood, and Miss Delaware, Shauna Lisa Saints. Megan Marie North is Miss South Dakota, and Kelly Blackston is Miss Georgia. From nearly 6,000 miles apart come Miss Hawaii, Vanessa Dubois, and Miss Virginia, Sandra D. Jones. The gazebo, which commands a view of the Gulf, serves as a backdrop for Miss Arizona, Lori Hackala, and Miss Florida, Lisa Smith. And from our host state, here is Miss Mississippi, Nancy Perkins, and Kathy Rogers, Miss New Hampshire. Homes in the 200-year-old styles of the Cajun and Creole settlers can be found here at Diamond Head, along with a modern-day swimming pool where we greet Miss Kentucky, Christina Chapman, and Diane Marie Arabia, who is Miss Michigan. In the background here, we see Bayou Benicia, and in the foreground, Miss Maryland, Angie Boyer, and Miss Utah, Susan Gasser.
Macy Levy. Time now to meet Suzanne DeWam, who is Miss California. His capital comes Miss District of Columbia, Laurie Estep, and Miss Wyoming, Judy Lynn Wilder. The Choctaw Indians called this place Devil's Elbow 200 years ago, but today the wigwams and the birch bark canoes have been replaced by a yacht club and power boats. Also, on occasion, some lovely guests stop by. For example, here is Miss Nevada, Andrea K. Pennington, and Miss Colorado, Dusty Hutton. Here are Miss Pennsylvania, Teresa Rosa, and Miss New Jersey, Janice Lynn Straub. As a boat leaves the marina, we see Miss Kansas, Stephanie Larson,
and Lisa K. Allen, who is Miss New Mexico. Moving into our picture now is Janet Marie Flaherty, Miss Massachusetts, and Kim Wida, Miss Ohio. This is Miss Nebraska, Lori Lynn Novicki, and Jill Ann Liebman, Miss Oklahoma. And from New England comes our final contestant, Miss Vermont, Georgia Davis. This beautiful Gulf Coast house embodies the style found in many old homes in the famous French Quarter of New Orleans. Balconies, columns, and lots of wrought iron. It's in this lovely setting that our 51 candidates have assembled for you to have one more chance to see them all together and for them to send you a collective greeting from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. In our audience here tonight are three gentlemen who are proud of the Mississippi Gulf Coast. In fact, they're proud of the whole state of Mississippi. They are Governor and Mrs. William Winter, Lieutenant Governor, and Mrs. Brad Dye, C.B. Buddy Newman, Speaker of the House, and his wife. Here they are. Our judges started evaluating our candidates a week ago, and they've observed each contestant in swimsuit, evening gown, and personal interview competitions. The computer has averaged the scores of each young lady in those three categories and is ready now to tell us the names of our 12 semifinalists. As each name is announced, you at home will see the cumulative score each young woman received from our judges. Now, may I have the computer readout, please? Thank you, Mr. John Kilkeary. Before I read these names, which will be called in no particular order, here again are the young ladies in their lovely sportswear ensembles made especially for them by Jones, New York. Let me say good luck to all of you as we present our 12 candidates for the title of Miss USA. These are the 12 girls who have a chance to become Miss USA. The first name on the list is Miss Virginia. Number 2, Miss Tennessee. Come on down, Miss Michigan. And we want Miss Vermont. Our next semifinalist is Miss Hawaii. We're halfway there, y'all, with Miss Texas. Now we have 6 more names on the list of 12 semifinalists, and number 7 is Miss Kentucky. And how about Miss Massachusetts? Number 9. Number 9 is Miss Utah. Here comes Miss Arkansas. There are only 2 more names on the list of 12 semifinalists. Only 2 more girls who have a chance to become Miss USA of 1982. One of them is Miss Ohio. And now we're down to number 12, the last name on the list. The last name is Miss Maryland. Congratulations to our semifinalists, one of whom will be the new Miss USA.
We're narrowing it down now. The scoring in the preliminary judging showed that the best score was received by Miss Texas, second place was Miss Ohio, and third place was Miss Utah. Now the preliminary phase is over, and the scoring will start brand new again with all these 12 finalists even. So our next step is Bob's interview with each semifinalist, and that begins right after this word from Cheer. Dan?
Ooh, I thought it was... Now I am going to interview each of our 12 semifinalists. Over the years, I've learned that anything can happen here because the young women do not know what I am going to ask them, and I have no idea what they are going to answer. At the end of each of the interviews, you at home will see the contestants' average score in this part of the competition. I should point out here that throughout the evening, the judges will know only what score he or she gives each contestant. The average scores, which appear on your screens at home, will not be shown on the monitors here in the theater. Now, let's meet Miss Virginia. Step right out here. Miss Virginia is Sandra D. Jones. She's 24. She lives in Richmond, and you have already received one of the top awards of the pageant. I'm referring to Miss Photogenic. Why don't you tell our viewers about that, how it's awarded?
Well, the other afternoon around 1:30, we all got up on stage and we were supposed to be here for the Miss Photogenic. And I was looking over on the other side and I said, oh, something's going to happen. And then when they announced my name, I was just thrilled and shocked.
Well, the point is that the photographers who cover the pageant from all over the world make this award, and they chose Miss Virginia as the most photogenic young lady in the pageant this year. Now, I find it interesting that she is not just Miss Virginia, and she is not just Sandra D. Jones of Richmond. She is Sandra D. Jones Incorporated. And would you explain that?
Well, last year I started a modeling and advertising agency in Richmond and in Atlanta. And the modeling has, I've done a few things with TV and magazines and things like that. And I'm starting a new restaurant in advertising. And we're starting it from the ground floor up, so we're real excited about it.
Do you have any friends or relatives here to cheer the corporation on?
Yes, I do. Friends?
How many? Now, wait a minute. You got the governor of Mississippi applauding over here. How many do you have?
I have about 24 here.
They're investors who are here to check on their investment, right? Thank you very much, Miss Virginia. They're seeing the score at home. Now we will talk with Miss Tennessee, who is Niecy Levy, 21, a student at Middle Tennessee State University. And what do you study?
I majored in broadcast journalism.
Good for you. What would you like to do?
Well, I hope to become a broadcast journalist someday.
And work in news.
That's right.
Would you like to start right now?
Oh, I'd love to.
My thought is that Dan Rather has just said we are going now to the Mississippi Gulf Coast for an on-the-scene report on the Miss USA pageant from Nisi Levy. Go.
I'm reporting from the live telecast of the Miss USA pageant. On stage with me is Mr. Bob Barker, who is Master of Ceremonies, and in front of me we have the celebrity panel of judges in whose capable hands lies the decision of who will be Miss USA for 1982. And we'll be back later to bring you the results. This is Nisi Levy reporting for CBS.
Frankly, that was a little too good. Thank you very much, Miss Tennessee. Miss Michigan, come out to me, please. She is Diane Marie Arabia, 21, from Warren, a professional musician.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us what you have done, what you are doing, and what you would like to do in music?
Well, right now I am teaching privately in my home. I've got about 30 or 40 of my own students. I'm a jazz player. I played with a jazz show group for about 2.5 years, which enabled me to do a lot of traveling across the country. Through the past 12 or 14 years, I've done a lot of studying, and I've chosen jazz as my specialty. I've just found it to be a little bit more of an expressive type music, and it allows me to be a little bit more creative when I'm composing.
What's been the most fun for you in the pageant?
Probably the most exciting thing for me is just having the opportunity to meet and socialize with all the other girls. To be totally honest, seeing
Well,
that
I would certainly want you to be totally honest, Miss Michigan.
seeing that none of us have seen men for the 2.5 weeks rehearsing with the Naval Aviation Troop hasn't been too bad either.
To be totally honest, again, you mean?
Yeah, again.
I have good news for you.
What?
One of the prizes that Miss USA receives is an ensign this year.
Oh, gosh.
Thank you, Miss Michigan. They have seen her score at home, and we will talk with Miss Vermont. Miss Vermont is Georgia Davis, age 22, from Bennington, a professional model. Now, as a professional model, you may have had the opportunity to do some traveling, have you?
Yes, I have.
Where have you been working?
I've been working in Italy, Spain, France, Monaco, Switzerland, and America.
Well, very good. Now, these are some exotic places, but the girls have told me that you are very, very proud of Vermont. Would you like to have this opportunity to tell everyone the glories of Vermont?
I would love to. Vermont is a very beautiful state. I'm very proud to be from Vermont. There are many things found in Vermont that can't be found anywhere else in the world. And I hope that each and every one of you will visit us someday.
Now, the girls have been sampling Southern cooking, and they have tried such delicacies as crawfish. Did you like the crawfish?
No, in Vermont we use it as bait.
Now, one man's delicacy is another man's bait. Thank you very much, Miss Vermont. They've tried black-eyed peas, they've had ham hocks, gumbo, the whole thing. Miss Hawaii, would you come out to me, please? She is Vanessa Dubois, 23, from Honolulu. She's an airline stewardess, and I know what many of you at home are saying, that she is the one you heard about on the newscast who had her pendant stolen in New York City, and you did, didn't you, Vanessa?
That was me.
Yes. Tell our audience about that.
Well, we were staying at the Holleran House in New York City, and we went up the street for about a block just to go to the cosmetics store to get some things to bring down here to Mississippi with us. And we were crossing the street, felt this hand, and my necklace was gone.
But the story has a happy ending, doesn't it?
Very happy. The
What
New York
has happened?
police are wonderful. They found the man that bought the necklace, and they found the man who stole the necklace, and they have the necklace now. And they're going to be giving it back to me very shortly. I'm not sure when.
Which speaks very well of the New York City Police Department. Does indeed. The story does have a happy ending. And what other highlights now of your trip other than being mugged?
Well, being here has been just a wonderful joy for me. They have a lot of aloha spirit here, which is Southern hospitality.
back home.
Now, I am going to ask you to go back to your place and speak to no strangers as you go. Just go directly back there, all right?
Thank you.
Go ahead, Miss White. Now let's meet Miss Texas. Miss Texas is Luann Coy. She's 22. She lives in Abilene. She attends Texas Tech University, and what are you studying?
Fashion merchandising.
And what do you plan to do?
I want to design someday maybe swimsuits.
Now, you are a member of this joggers group here, are you not?
Yes, I am. We've been jogging every night since we've been here, and it's up and down the halls because you can't go outside. And so we have mapped it out that if you jog about 15 laps, that's 1 mile. So we've been doing that every night, and the security guards have been directing traffic. It's pretty funny.
How many of you jog?
There's about 5 of us.
If I have dark circles under my eyes, I want you to know that my room is right under this thundering herd.
I'm sorry.
And they jog religiously. You've also been ballooning since you got to Mississippi.
I have, and that was an experience, let me tell you. Miss Louisiana and I were chosen to go up in this hot air balloon. And we were pretty scared at first, but once we got up there, it was a lot of fun. And the funny part about it is that we landed in someone's backyard, and they were celebrating Mother's Day by having a barbecue. So on the way down, we were going, can we have some? We're pretty hungry.
All right. Thank you, Miss Texas. You've met half of our semifinalists. How about it, you armchair judges? Is one of them going to be the new Miss USA?
Women have worn the crown of Miss USA, and we're all here tonight to see who's going to be number 31. But there's a lot to be done before we know who that lucky girl is going to be. And we'll be back with more of the interview competition after this.
We've had a chance to meet 6 of our semifinalists, and now it is time to talk with the other 6, beginning with you, Miss Kentucky. Come out here to me, please. She is Christina Chapman. She is 19. She lives in Owensboro. She attends Kentucky Wesleyan. And what do you study?
I am an advertising communications major.
And you would like to do what eventually?
Well, someday, eventually, I would like to own my ad agency in a large metropolitan area.
I gave Miss Vermont an opportunity to talk about her state. Let's imagine that you are representing Kentucky with your advertising agency. What would you tell us about Kentucky?
Okay, not only is Kentucky known to be such a great industrial state, but we are known to have beautiful bluegrass countries, and Phyllis George Brown has been to all 4 corners of our great nation, and she, our First Lady of Kentucky, has chosen Kentucky to raise her son Lincoln.
Possibly because she's married to the governor of Kentucky.
Well, that could help.
What else do you have in Kentucky?
Kentucky is great for farming and fast horses and beautiful women.
Yes, that's right. How many, speaking of fast horses, how many Kentucky Derbies have you seen?
I've seen some, but I haven't ever attended any in person.
What do you mean you've seen some, but you haven't
Well,
attended?
on TV.
Oh, on television. You mean you've never attended?
No, I haven't.
Are you sure you're not from New Jersey?
I'm positive.
Thank you, Miss Kentucky.
Thank you.
You have seen her score, and now let's meet Miss Massachusetts, who is Janet Marie Flaherty, 24 years old, from Wilmington. She models and teaches modeling, and her ambition is to own a health spa. Now, have you worked in a health spa?
Resort health spa.
A resort health spa, yes. Have you worked in a spa?
Yes, I have.
And do you really think that you are capable of operating one?
Sure.
Now, it's quite an investment. Have you saved your money for this?
Well, I was wondering, hoping maybe I'd be able to get a few backers.
You mean here?
Sure.
Anyone like to invest in a health spa in Massachusetts? Strange, but each investor is a young man. Now, Miss Massachusetts, you have been working on your New England accent since you came here, have you not?
I have.
Show our audience, when you arrived, how you would have said, Bob Barker, park your car here.
Bob Barker, park your car here.
Yes, but she's been here for 2 weeks, and she's worked hard. Now, show us how you say it.
Bob Barker, park your car here, you all.
She's lost her accent. Thank you. And we are ready for Miss Utah. Miss Utah is Susan Gasser, age 19. She lives in Salt Lake City, and she is studying accounting at the University of Utah and wants to become a CPA. Now, we have talked so much about Southern hospitality. Do you have any comments on that, Miss Utah?
Well, the Southern people sure know how to have a good time, and they make their guests feel right at home.
Particularly those in the balcony. Have you noticed? Now, you agree then that there is Southern hospitality and lots of it. You come from a family of 6 brothers and sisters?
Right.
Is that fun?
Correct. Yes, very fun. They become my best friends.
Would you like to have a large family? How many would you like?
4 or 5.
Really?
Yes, large family.
I suggest you find a Southern gentleman with a plantation here. You're studying to be a CPA. What would you do when you will have this opportunity, you know? I mean, you have this opportunity. You will win $70,000 cash if you're Miss USA. What will you do with it?
Spend it.
Yeah. Thank you, Miss Utah. I'm sure she will do exactly that, CPA or not. And Miss Arkansas, Terry Utley, who is 20 years old and who lives in Cabot, Arkansas, and who works for a resort in Hot Springs, Arkansas. What do you do?
I sell timeshares on condominiums. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of it. It's brand new in the United States. It's a great way to have vacation time for the next 36 years.
Yes, you sound as if you might be selling condominiums. You do indeed. Where are these?
At Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's Hamilton Harbor Resort.
And you live in Cabot?
Yes, sir.
How large is Cabot?
It's a town of around 4,000. It's a little small town.
What do you do in Cabot, Arkansas, population 4,000, on Saturday night?
In the winter, we stay at home, but in the summer, we tend to go downtown at the Tasty Freeze. And this is funny. My friends at home are going to shoot me. But we sit on the back of the truck sometimes, and I have a friend that plays the banjo. And some of the guys dip skull and, drink a little beer. It's a little good time.
Sounds about like what we do in Hollywood, right, Vic? Thank you, Miss Arkansas. Let's go to Cabot. Let's go to Cabot tonight. And let's meet Miss Ohio before we go. She is Kim Wida. She is 21. She lives in Dayton. And she attends Sinclair College. And what are you studying?
Fashion illustration.
Now, I read the bios of the girls in the pageant, and I have good news for you young men in the audience. Miss Ohio is one of the few girls in the pageant who said in her bio that she does not have a boyfriend.
That's right.
Now, be patient, be patient. I am going to sort you out. What sort of boy are you looking for?
Witty, attractive, and ambitious. And if the man is here, would you please come on down?
I don't know about you judges, but she made several points with me just then. Have you been sampling the cooking down here? Have you tried grits?
Every morning, I eat them.
Do you like them?
I love them. A lot of sugar.
On the pageant last year, I said that I liked grits, and I got grits from all over Mississippi. And this year, I want you to know I like diamonds, too. Thank you, Miss Ohio. Miss Maryland, would you come over to me, please? She is Angie Boyer. She is 18. She lives in Dunkirk. She graduates from high school in just 1 week. Yes. And what are your plans?
Well, I plan on attending the University of Maryland to major in television broadcasting, and hopefully someday I'll be an anchor person for a news station or maybe even have my own talk show.
Hopefully you will. Now, if you're graduating in just 1 week, you're probably missing some activities back at high school, aren't you?
Yes, I've missed my senior banquet, my senior class trip, and most of all, senior week, because that's when all the seniors get to say goodbye to each other.
What about final exams?
Oh, I still have to take those.
You have not taken them?
No, I haven't.
Maybe you won't be going to the University of Maryland after all.
That's true.
Have you studied since you've been here?
No.
Will you have time to study when you get home before you have to take the exams?
I'll probably have time, but I probably won't do it.
You see, they are very truthful in these interviews. Now, you have a little buddy here with you, don't you?
Yes, my little brother, and he's out there somewhere.
You know what he did? He came to me and he said if it were possible, would I mention him on the telecasts tonight? He's a very precocious young fellow. How old is he?
He's 8.
He's Chaz.
He's Chaz.
Chaz is his name. And there he is right now. Chaz, I asked him what he liked most about having his sister be Miss Maryland. He said the thing I liked best was getting my picture in the paper. That's Chaz. Thank you, Miss Maryland. You have met our 12 semifinalists, and I have a question for you judges at home. Have you changed your mind, or are you still confident of your first choice?
Okay, now we've taken the first of 3 steps that are going to make our 12 semifinalists turn into 5 finalists. Since this is live television and we have a couple of problems, we want to let you know that Virginia, though it didn't appear on your screens, received a score of 8.77. And the final scores showed that Miss Ohio was first, Miss Arkansas was second, and Miss Utah was third. But remember, there are 2 more important areas of judging, swimsuits and evening gowns, yet to take place. And we're going to get to meet our panel of judges, and we'll also hear from our special guest, Donnie Osmond, where the hairbrushes and the swimsuits are flying, because we're in our dressing room with the semifinalists. I have a question for one of them.